Good evening. I'm meteorologist Matt Makins. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for southwestern sections of the Denver metro area. This is radar indicated. I've had cameras on it. We have a chaser underneath it, not showing any sign of tornado development at this time. What they're worried about is on the leading edge, the center of your screen there. See that lowering where it comes down, the cloud cover there? That is an area of strong winds blowing into and out of the thunderstorm. In that area, you may be able to produce a tornado, but again, admittedly, it's a very weak indication on radar. Mostly just wind shear is what's being detected now. We've got great visuals on it, as you can see. Our whole series of web cameras, and again, our storm chaser Corey Reppenhagen is on the storm. He's not seeing any sort of tornado development at this time. Let me show you the radar picture. That camera is from downtown Denver, looking down at this thunderstorm. That leading edge of the thunderstorm is about to cross over 285 or Santa Fe as it runs from Inglewood out past Morrison. The heaviest rain is going to be just south of that area. As I zoom in, you're going to see some streets popping on here. The tornado warning is going to be in and around the Bomar area and northward. Again, the threat is very small at this time. It's really more of an area of wind shear, but in that area of wind shear, a brief tornado would be possible. If you're on Comcast or DirecTV, you may notice that your screen will go blank. There'll be an emergency message at any moment. It may be going at this time for many of us. So again, we'll have to recap as those folks join us again. But on our cable networks and certain satellite providers, they are already covering the screen with the alert tones and the National Weather Service statement for that tornado warning. Again, this is going to be around the area of Bomar, pushing to the north, but it's a very weak indication, both on radar and visually. Our storm chaser, Corey Reppenhagen, is on the storm, but as long as we have this tornado warning and the imminent threat, we will continue to stay on the air. We've noticed this storm for the last great while. In fact, during the 5 to 6 p.m. newscast, we talked about this very thunderstorm down over Roxborough Park. Corey was there as the rotation began. The storm is really more of a rain producer, a little bit of hail. There's also a urban and small stream flood advisory for this thunderstorm due to the heavy rainfall. Now the Comcast folks are back with us. The emergency tones are off their screens. I'll get you caught up on what's happening. National Weather Service is tracking this thunderstorm you see on your screen. That's a view from downtown Denver looking down to the southwest. The leading edge of that storm is a little bit lower than others, and you're looking at another vantage point, this roof cam. Dead center of your screen, the lowest part of the storm, that's where there's enough wind shear that a brief tornado is going to be possible. Certainly a very ominous look there, but again, the storm is going to be pushing to the north, really more of a wind threat. Strong winds are going to be coming from this storm. That wind, as it pushes out of the storm and tries to move into the storm, that interaction may produce a brief tornado. The tornado warning does continue for the next great while, mostly in Jefferson County. So we've got our eyes on it from cameras, and our storm chasers also underneath it. Back to the radar picture, I'll do a storm track for you on the storm. We're talking about areas along 285 from Santa Fe out to C470 has the biggest impact. That whole block of area, large area, has the best chance for some very heavy rainfall and some flooding. Flooding is the biggest threat for today. Flood watches, flood warnings possible at any time, and now we're dealing with a tornado warning as the storm is going to be drifting to the north throughout many sections of the Denver metro area. Here's a storm track on that system. Granted, Inglewood and Lakewood are very big areas, but towards the center of both of those, it'll be arriving in the center of Inglewood by 6:45, the center of Lakewood by 6:57. I believe they call the center of Lakewood up by the Federal Center along 6th. So again, 6:45 for Inglewood, 6:57 into Lakewood will be this storm. As I broaden the view a little bit, if you're along Zephyr Street up to Union Boulevard, you certainly can look to the south and see the strong thunderstorm pushing your direction. It's strong in terms of rain, a little bit of hail also, and the tornado threat does continue. Here's that vantage point of one of the cameras, and John, feel free to take that roof cam whenever you see it looking really dramatic. Leading edge of the storm is the most ominous area. It's an area of wind shear. The radar is not greatly indicating any sort of tornado signature on it, but it is an area of wind shear, or wind trying to rush out of the storm and other winds trying to move in. That interaction could produce a brief tornado. Most of this warning covers sections of southwest Denver. It also includes the areas near Ken Carl, up towards Lakewood, western sections of Littleton, western sections of Inglewood, just to the south and the east of Morrison. It's quite a large warning area, but mostly the impact is going to be on the leading edge. That camera vantage point that you see there, is going to be our best vantage point to track any sort of tornado to develop. This is more of a shelf cloud that you're looking at as it wraps around the thunderstorm. The thunderstorm is rotating on that leading edge, but air is rushing down out of it. That air is interacting with the environment and creating kind of that shelf-looking plate-like cloud towards the center of your screen. Just below that's where the rain is falling out, but that's the area of the thunderstorm that is raining and interacting with the air trying to get back into the storm. So along that boundary is an area where there could be potentially a tornado. Again, the warning does continue for the next great while for western and southwestern sections of Denver. The radar is not impressive for a tornado signature. It's really the ominous sky there.